micro, nano education for everyone.
Hello, everybody. My name is Adarsh Radadia. I'm an associate professor at Louisiana Tech University, and I'm going to be talking about the summer research opportunity we'll be able to provide. And we want to call it Experience Microfabricating Biosensors. We are located in Ruston, Louisiana. So many of you may not have heard of Louisiana. Many of you may have. So here's the map of Louisiana state, and we're located in the north portion, extreme north portion of Louisiana. The Louisiana Tech University was established in 1804. Just to give you a little bit of glimpse of what Louisiana Tech University looks like, let me share a video with you.
Hey Future Bulldogs, I'm Celeste Keys, and today I'm going to take you on a virtual tour of Louisiana Tech's campus. We start off at the Lambright Sports and Wellness Center, the epicenter of recreation here at Tech. You can take advantage of 2 basketball gyms, an indoor track, 2 swimming pools, one inside and one outside, a bowling alley, a rock climbing wall, and plenty more. From the Lambright, we take a quick trip across the street and stop at Hale Hall. Hale is home to both our Office of Admissions and our School of Design. Along with the rest of the campus community, our Office of Admissions continues to stand strong and united even during a worldwide pandemic. From Hale, we use the Alumni Walkway to take us toward the center of campus. First, we can see Tolliver and the Student Center, both busy hubs of student activity. You can grab a bite to eat at Tech Table in the Student Center, or stay up all night studying and socializing in Tolliver's 24-hour lounge. Next, we stop by 2 of our newest buildings, the College of Business and the Integrated Engineering and Science Education Building. The Engineering Building, the newest building on our campus, just opened for classes over the winter quarter with over 130,000 square feet of technologically advanced classrooms and innovative lab spaces. Our last stop of the day is to visit the Quad and the Lady of the Mist, donated by the Women's Panhellenic Association of Ruston. The lady's arms are open to welcome everyone to our campus. She sits at the center of our campus and is a welcome sight to anyone entering Keeney Hall, Wiley Tower, Prescott Memorial Library, the bookstore, or students just passing through campus. To learn more about our campus during the COVID-19 pandemic, I invite you to visit latech.edu or schedule a Zoom meeting with your admissions recruiter or specialist today. Remember, forever blue, forever loyal, Louisiana Tech.
Okay. Okay, so that's Louisiana Tech's campus. Yeah, we have about around 12,000 students population, and we have almost a 1:1 with men to women ratio on campus. In the College of Engineering and Science, where I belong, we have some undergraduate degrees. We have engineering programs, and we have the non-engineering programs. Non-engineering programs are the chemistry, physics, computer science, math, statistics. The engineering program we have the usuals, which is biomedical, chemical, but we have some unusuals also, which are quite niche programs called the instrumentation control system. We have the cyber engineering, nanosystems engineering. We have the US's very first nanosystems engineering here at Louisiana Tech. This program started in 2005, so we have about 86 NSC graduates. And the 2018 survey showed that our alumni are making, on an average, about $91K annually. We currently have 19 students enrolled in this program, and we have some really sophisticated instruments that we train our undergraduates in. We train them on how to use a scanning electron microscope. So we have 2 desktop scanning electron microscopes for teaching undergraduate students. We have a CVD reactor to teach undergraduate students how to synthesize carbon nanotubes. And we have about three atomic force microscopes, where we train our undergraduate students on how to operate them to characterize nanomaterials. And this is coursework. And so feel free to check out some of the nanosystems engineering opportunities at Tech. Also on campus, we have the graduate program. The graduate program is housed in a building called the Institute for Micromanufacturing. So here you can see on the top left-hand side the image of the building. And this building has 20,000 square feet of lab space. So in the lab space, we have clean room, which is about 5,000 square feet, which is pretty big. And we have a metrology lab, almost close to 1,200 square foot of metrology lab. Also, this building houses some individual labs, like my own lab, research lab in here. This building houses more than 20 professors, support engineers, technicians, administrative personnel, and so it's a very happening place for research. A bit about myself. I did my undergraduate at University of Michigan, Ann Arbor. Then I did a PhD at Illinois, Urbana-Champaign. And after a little bit of postdoc experience, I joined Louisiana Tech in 2011. And I've been here, I've been happy. And Ruston is a great place to raise family. So I started my 11th year here, and I'm an associate professor of chemical engineering right now. I have some really helpful graduate students who help me on many projects. So I'm very lucky, in fact, to have them work with me. So for my research, what I'll do is I'll talk about 3 different projects that I work on. And then I will launch into the area as to like, what will the summer experience look like? So in research aspect, I work on what is called graphene based biosensor. And this type, it's a transistor type of a biosensor. And we look at specifically the different ways of operating such kind of a sensor. So we look at fabricating it, and we look at also characterizing it, detecting bioelements. We also dabbled a little bit more into 3D printing. You know, everybody must be familiar with 3D printing. And so what we look into is, hey, how can we use some of these nano-enabled 3D printing filaments? It's like, for example, nanocarbon is doped into PLA and made into an electrically conductive filament. So now with this electrically conductive filament, how can we make different kind of electric sensors and electric actuators? So what you see up here on the top is with a dual head, we are writing a sensor, electric flow sensor. And over here on the bottom right side, we are actually actuating the gripper electrically. So just by thermal heating, we're heating a particular part of this actuator, and this actuator, the hands are able to move. So that's what we work on in terms of 3D printing. We also work on certain aspects of nanomaterials. So we bring in what are called nanodiamonds, and we try to come up with surface chemistry so we can stitch these nanodiamonds up into a thin film. And these films are very important for relieving the thermal stress, or spreading the heat much better for chips that heat up pretty quickly, like the CPUs in our computers. So these films are very, very helpful, as well as they are non-conductive. So we work on such kind of films. So yeah, that's the kind of research that we do. Now, over the summer, we would like to provide the selected undergraduates with an experience in biosensing. So biosensors, I think most of you may know, is a device or a means that has been applied to drug discovery, disease detection, environmental monitoring, soil quality monitoring, all kinds of monitoring, as well as prosthetic devices. So in a biosensor, what happens is there is a bioelement that we are after or detecting, trying to detect. So there is a complementary biorecognition element that we actually engineer in labs and put it to use. These elements are put on transducing surfaces or transducing mechanisms. It may be electrochemical in nature, optical in nature, acoustic nature, or nanomechanical in nature. And we thereby derive signals as to when the biorecognition element contacts the bioelement that we are trying to detect. So in this summer experience, what we want to provide is we want you to experience how the microfabrication of these sensors come about. So most of these sensors that have been researched, as well as that are heavily being used in the industry, they are primarily of three kinds. There are more kinds, I'll admit, but we chose these three kinds. So the first kind is the interdigitated electrode kind. So we will fabricate these kinds of sensors where there will be fingers which are 9 microns wide, okay, and the gap between the finger is 9 microns. So 9 microns, to give you a perspective, that's like 1/10 of the thickness, or maybe 1/15 the thickness of the hair. So that's pretty small. The second kind of sensor we'll look at is what is called a micro gap sensor. So in a micro gap sensor, we will have two metal electrodes come close, but they're not touching each other. There's a gap here, and this gap will be on the order of like 5 to 10 microns. So this is called a micro gap sensor. And the third kind of sensor we will use is a multi-electrode array. So multi-electrode array looks basically just like a flat square pad. And we can perform chemistry on these flat square pads. These are, again, metal lines that we are patterning. So in all the three sensors, what is common is the substrate. So the chip material is a non-conductive material, non-electrically conductive material, and there is a pattern of metal. Usually we try to use gold or platinum. Sometimes we may use aluminum if permitted by the application. Most of the cases it's gold, because we know that gold does not change with time or does not react much with anything. So you will learn to have fun while also microfabricating some of these sensors. You will get Louisiana Tech University, get some hands-on experience, how to use these different kinds of sensors. Most of these sensors, what you will do is you will go into the clean room. So here I show you a picture. You'll gown up and go inside the clean room with me or one of the engineers or one of my graduate students. And then you will learn how to actually pattern photoresist. You will learn how to actually deposit gold coatings, very, very thin film of gold, about 100 nanometers thin gold coating, and then clean up the photoresist. So then in the end, you get a nice pattern of gold on a substrate, on a glass substrate, glass chip, or maybe a silicon chip coated with glass. So this is the kind of experience that you will get at Louisiana Tech. Okay, so you'll be exposed to many of the 4-inch silica wafer processing units we have here at Louisiana Tech. We have mask aligners, ion etchers, We have metal evaporators, RF sputtering tools, wafer bonders, dicing saw. So the whole suite of things that we do here. So basically, we go all the way from lithography to etch, to deposition, packaging, and then testing. So this is the kind of flow that you will experience here at Louisiana Tech. After we're done with the manufacturing, then we will take you to the next part, which is the characterization core. And in the characterization core, we'll expose you to an scanning electron microscope. The scanning electron microscope will provide you some training on it. Fundamentals of how to use a scanning electron microscope. Will expose you to what's called a laser scanning confocal microscope. Again, this is the next generation of scanning after optical microscope with visible light. We'll kind of expose you to some of these tools during this particular experience. So if you have any more questions, please feel free to contact me. Again, I tried to go over the research part that we perform on a very quick manner, but if you have any questions related to even 3D printing or some of the biosensing that we perform, feel free to even look up my Google Scholar page. So you just go to scholar.google.com and then just type in my name, Adarsh Radadia, and you will find many of the publications in there. Feel free to take down my email as well as my phone number to reach out to me if you have any further questions. One more thing is that the research in our lab is not restricted to physical access also. So even if you are remotely located, you can perform some aspects of the research before actually coming here. So that will be a great opportunity. So we can set up an account for you and you can do remotely some computational research before you arrive here. So these are some of the opportunities we have. Thank you so much for your time. And I'll take any questions if you have any.
Thank you so much. One of the things I wanted to ask you, Dr. Radadia, and actually, Ned, if you're still here, jump in too, is what kind of experience, because both of you are connected to the institutions that are like really our closer partner for your institutions, as well as Purdue and others that have presented, what level of experience do you need if I'm looking at what's happening in University of North Texas, I'm interested. I'm looking at what's happening at Louisiana Tech, I'm interested. This all sounds like great and potentially doable. Do I need prior experience? What should I be thinking about?
The way we have planned this summer research experience is we want basic mathematics and basic physics experience. So very little chemistry or biology knowledge is required. But the basic mathematics and physics, they should have at least one course done at college level.
So, Kendrick, for us, we don't have any specific, we don't need any specific like background or experimental experience, but only for working at UNT, students have to complete safety trainings. So there are 5 categories, for example, biological safety trainings, chemical trainings, the hood training. So anyone that is willing to work in a lab at UNT, and they have to be certified in those 5 categories. They have to complete safety trainings before working in a lab. That's all for us.
Got it. And just to be clear, I know so if one of the things that Adarsh put in the chat was about needing to know how to do like finite element modeling or analysis. So if I don't know what that is it possible that as a part of that research experience, I will learn that?
Yes, absolutely. That's the whole point of the research experience, is that once a student brings in their knowledge that, hey, I know a little bit of Calc 1, 2, and maybe 3, and they can come in and then we will explain what is it when we are using these softwares. These are basically hi-fi calculators. Then we explain why is it a hi-fi calculator, like what it takes from a calculator, how it goes and becomes a hi-fi calculator, like a program that we call finite element modeling. And it's just a fancy name given.
Right. And although knowledge of like differential or integral or calculus or differential equations is preferable, you'll probably get maybe the most out of it. It's not required for either.
It's not required.
Right.
But at least Calc 1 and 2, where they have seen at least some level of mathematical rigor that is at the college level, that should be plenty. There should be plenty.
Yes. Thank you for clarifying. Again, thank you so much, Dr. Habibi, Dr. Radadia from University of North Texas and Louisiana Tech for the wonderful presentations. Students, I hope that everyone at least saw, you don't have to get everything, but at least grab one element that really interested you, that really kind of compelled you, something you might want to look into later or continue to ask questions about as you clarify like your research priorities and interest. But can we please just give Dr. Habibi and Radadia a round of applause for their presentations and appreciate them for coming.
Thank you.